We already know how we're gonna go, pause, and stop before the frame's done. That's good. We're moving up in the world.
Oh, whose idea was it to put tail fins on it?
Charles. Welcome back to our 190cc 5-speed ultimate backyard go-kart build with full suspension. We still have a long list of things to do before this go-kart is going to run under its own power, but we have a very ambitious plan on getting a lot of that knocked out today. We still need a fuel tank. We need to mount a rear rack behind the seat for a Panhard bar, and our fuel tank will probably be integrated into that. We need throttle, brake, clutch pedals. We need a shifter and a couple of small things here and there just to get it in shape. But we're going to start things off with the good old-fashioned DIY alignment cars and cameras style. This is a little bit of a tricky situation for setting our toe because we do have some inevitable bump steer, which is basically toe change as the suspension compresses and decompresses. So we're going to set toe to where we want it at ride height, basically.
I feel like I got it dialed.
Okay, feels pretty dialed. Looks good, looks good.
Don't be laughing at my math.
So the cinder block right on the front end is simulating kind of having someone's weight in the seat, so getting it basically to ride height. This next step could be overkill, but we're going to roll the vehicle forwards and backwards just to get the suspension to settle.
All right, so we got 15 PSI in the front.
All right, let me just
out.
roll it. Okay, I don't see any change, but that's okay.
Give it a little...
Yeah, give it a little bouncy action. Okay. That should be settled, definitely.
Isn't there like a Newton's law or something?
An object in motion will continue to be in motion until it hits a tree.
No, that was me the other day. Yeah, you can really tell when you add these things to it.
Yeah, we have some Go Power Sports live axles are awesome alignment tools. It doesn't have to be a live axle, but you basically want two straight pieces of either board, tubing,
broom handle,
pipe, broom handle, exactly, that are somewhat similar length, and that's going to help you determine kind of where your toe is sitting. Now we grab a tape measure and we measure at the very front and the very rear of our axles. And the difference is going to be the difference in toe.
Since it's angled, it's going to be kind of tough to get but on this side of the tape measure, it's 49.5.
All right.
So 54 inches. So
that's pretty significant.
Yeah, we had, what was it, 49?
49.5, yeah.
49.
So if these two are closer, which they are, that means that the tips of the tires are towed in, exactly what we thought. So we got to adjust our tie rods and check again.
I knew my they're a little off, but
I
gotta go get them calibrated.
Yeah,
Micrometers.
What you set your toe to is going to depend on kind of the application. I feel like toe out is good for autocross. Neutral toe is somewhere in the middle, and slight toe in I think is good for like high speed application because it helps the tires kind of keep going straight. It might add a little bit of stability. If you have more information, more knowledge, leave it in the comments because this stuff is very fascinating to me.
Or if you had a yard cart like me, you had one toed in, one toed out.
Yeah. That's not great. That's not what you want.
I hit trees. A few times.
So we're going to set this thing to darn near zero toe, meaning that the tires are going to be parallel to each other. Charles has started tackling the pedals, and the throttle pedal is all hooked up and ready to go. The brake and clutch is going to be a little bit more interesting because the clearance is so tight. So you're going to work on the clutch on that end, and I can kind of sit here and figure out.
Honestly, yeah, because that end isn't too bad, but what I realized here
is pedal placement is the problem.
Pedal placement, but before I even figured out where, we had a rough idea where this pivot point went, but in order to get this right, I had to hook up the end on the carburetor to get the pull right. So then I knew where to set it, and then I kind of neutraled it out so we have forward and backwards here. Same thing on either end.
Okay.
So that way, if we have to play with it, we can.
Sure.
Because I swear, we always run into those things where it's like the last second and there's no wiggle room.
Oh, yeah, I know.
So
Adjustment is nice to have.
Yeah, I'm trying to give it to us at least a little bit.
I think the pedal might be a little bit too close.
I think it's a little bit too close, but at the same time, dude, there's only so much we can do because we have this bar here. Here's what we got. We're moving over to this side. We got the throttle figured out. We're going to put the brakes and the clutch in line with the throttle. It's really not too uncomfortable. If we have to, we can move the seat back a little bit, but we may not have to. So the clutch is on a cable. It's one of these Go Power Sports heavy duty cables. They're freaking awesome. It's going to mount somewhere over here. We have also Go Power Sports pedals here. You can just find all the links in the description. One here, one here. They're going to need to get trimmed. Brakes. Mini bike brake. Somewhere mounted like that. We're just going to press the stick with our foot. It'll be fine. We can modify this and make our own that looks like a pedal at some point. And of course, the final piece to the puzzle is the shifter. We're going to modify the factory shifter, cut it off right about there, drill a hole in it. We're going to run linkage, threading the needle in between our jack shaft and the frame here to some more linkage. It's going to send it over there up to the passenger side of the seat so we can shift with our right arm. You still with me, cameraman?
Yeah, no, it's going to be kind of like a car. You have your clutch on the left, brake in the middle, gas on the right, and your shifter. Yeah.
Quick editor's note. After we set up the gas brake clutch, Ike came in and pointed out to us that our gas and brake need to be on the same side and the clutch needs to be all by its lonesome. So we set it up wrong, but it's fine. It was kind of only tacked to begin with. Back to it. But we should have brakes, throttle, clutch today.
Wow.
So that's fun.
Before the frame's done.
That's a big... It's fine.
No, that's actually good.
Is it?
Well, I mean, think about it. We already know how we're going to go, pause, and stop before the frame's done. That's good. We're moving up in the world. So we're repurposing old bits of Trailmaster MB200 to make our brake bracket. Out of tubing, this just happens to be the right OD to match our brake lever here, our master cylinder. And Charles, thanks, dude. Okay, I see. Basically, we cut and modify this piece, and it's going to attach up here like that. We've got this tab we can weld onto for support, and then down there with that flat bar as well. It needs to get trimmed. Oh, you got it? Yeah,
okay,
I got
sweet.
it.
And yeah, dude, that's perfect. Look, we have clearance for our...
Oh no!
That was so dumb.
And it's looking at us
like,
you idiots! You put us on you put me on a tire. I hope it's okay.
Oh boy. All right, so we're stuck at 50 millimeters now. We're shooting the rest of the episode at 50 millimeters because that's where you're in focus.
I don't even know what that means, but okay.
All right, so that's what we got.
And then this, before we were rudely interrupted by the falling camera, this is getting clamped onto this because we specifically picked this piece of tubing so it could be clamped in its original spot, because just bolting it up we didn't think was going to be strong enough because it's aluminum threads. John and I, we agreed that the clamp is part of the structure, like that keeps it stationary. So if our hands can squeeze it and stop it, I think our feet can do it.
Yeah, we don't want to mess around with brakes too much.
Yeah, no, we don't want the brakes breaking.
Exactly.
Does that make any sense?
I'm gonna go get our backup lens. You get that trimmed, and
Okay.
I'll meet you back here.
All right.
That looks pretty good, man.
Yeah, I like it. It clears the tie rod, won't tear the boot.
Yep.
Yeah, you run without that boot, that's a good way to ruin a rack.
Yep. Yeah, I'd get those bolts tight real quick, dude, and then we can kind of mock up our... It broke.
It's okay, hold on. Just stay right there. Ow!
Dude. Now just give it one more so we can actually test the clutch.
Yeah.
What you need to know about mounting your cable pieces, which isn't commonly known, is that you basically want your bracket to point towards the pivot point. Make it as straight of a shot as possible, and it looks like you did a pretty decent job.
Yeah, we got a frame member in the way.
Yeah, we do.
So we're threading the needle on it, basically.
Yeah, but dude, we now have brake, clutch, and gas.
Yeah, we'll.
Yeah, go ahead and tighten that sucker up and then have a seat in it, man. We'll test it out. We need to stop.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll get it. We've got one somewhere.
Good morning. We built the shifter this morning and it looks pretty good and I think it's working. We're going to test it by cycling the key on and see if we can make the neutral light come on and come off as we shift. You ready, bud?
Alright, so keys on.
Yeah, it should be in first gear right now.
Alright, so the neutral light is not on. But that's okay.
Hey.
Oh, hey, it's on. There
See
we
if
go.
I can go to second. Nope, come on.
Here, hold on. I'll shove the clutch in.
Sometimes you got to like rock them. I mean, okay, we got first gear there. We got neutral.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I wonder if our linkage is a little bit too tight down there. Is it hitting our jack shaft support? All right, so doing a little bit of detective work, we figured out that this engine just doesn't want to go into second gear. We took the shifter off my 190 Trail 70, and we stuck it on here, and it just doesn't. I mean, you know, it'll go to first gear, it'll go to neutral. It just does not want to go to second. I know these used to have shifter star problems, to be honest with you. And there's a fix for it. We just got to order parts. So
You know
we're going to try firing it up and seeing if we can cycle it. So we have the rear end lifted. We're going to see if we can do that. So this is going to be the first test of the drive line as well. You ready?
Yeah.
Just keep it running, buddy.
Alright, so choke it.
Yep, here we go. First gear. Okay, yeah, you gotta idle it up, or not idle it up, but just it needs RPM.
Oh boy, alright.
So yeah, you're really just
Yep.
doing.
No, it's
all
okay.
that.
No, it's alright.
I would honestly keep the bottle on it with one
Yep.
hand, and then
It's
just
still
operate
full.
the pedal with the other hand.
Alright,
Ready?
here we go.
Here we go.
Yep.
That's first gear. Clutch. Okay. Alright, let's try neutral. Okay. Let's try second gear. More gas, more gas. More gas, more gas, more gas. Yeah. Alright.
Alright.
Cool. We have gears now?
Yeah, what? What?
What?
Oh, and I'm spilling fuel.
Okay, so it should be in first gear now. And that should be
now
neutral.
we're in neutral.
Interesting. Okay, so this works. Let's take the CT70 shifter off and try our custom job again.
And then start it back up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
We got our custom shift linkage hooked up. We're about to fire it back up and see if we can replicate what we did with the CT70 shifter. Ready when you are, dude.
Let me make sure this is on. I was having. Ooh. It's funny, we're using a squirt bottle for
Yeah,
fuel.
this is sketchy. We got sparks flying. We got.
Yeah, I didn't spill any. So, yep, I'm on the gas pedal over here.
You ready?
Yep.
Here we go.
Okay.
Yeah, this is sketchy.
I didn't see how sketchy
My
that
leg was close, and I just remembered we have like 2.5 tacks on the engine, so the engine is dancing around.
Hey, but they held.
They held! That's a win, man. All right, so our clutch linkage works. We're really happy with our shifting linkage here. We just need to shorten our shifter, add a decorative piece to the top, flip our shifter on the engine around, and weld that back together, and the shifter will be done.
Don't die on me.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Got a shifter. Nice job, dude.
Yeah. Shit. Gear jamming.
You're jamming, not double clutching like you should. At this point, we need to finalize our rear shock placement and get our ride height exactly where we want it at full droop and when we're sitting in it, and as well as full compression. We're going to need to add a rear rack on here, and we're going to mount a fuel tank to the bottom of that. And we also are likely going to need a Panhard bar to keep the rear end from wandering because we have it set with bearings rather than a hinge like a Yerf dog. So let's take a look. So these are shocks off of Honda 4-Tracks, I believe, like a 1995 model or so. And they have damping, or they should have dampening. Dampening, I don't know which one it is, and I'm too afraid to ask. So basically, they're too stiff is our problem. So we can get them less stiff. We can get them softer by laying them down more. However, we're already so close right there. So we're going to give it a shot by moving these collars back and just moving them an inch farther back and seeing if that is enough for the softness that we're looking for, as well as gives us still clearance.
Yeah, that's our main issue.
By moving our pivot point closer to the axle, it's going to stiffen it, but we're also laying them down, so it should soften it. This is all just trial and error. I'm sure you can use a bunch of math to figure it out, but
No, what we're doing is
we're working with a bubble here.
what we're doing is denial and error.
Denial and error.
So
It's lower now, right?
yeah. Actually,
It's got the squat, doesn't it?
Uh-oh.
We knew we were gonna have to. We got new shocks for the front on order as well. So
Get it dialed.
go ahead and stand in the seat for me, dude. Just in that area. Okay.
Oh, that's better.
Ooh, it's got damping too, though.
You can hear it.
Yeah.
We're not lying to you.
Look at that. It still seems a little on the stiff side, bud. But we're adding more weight to it, so it might be okay. There's a lot to consider on this rear end. We're going to build a rear rack. We're going to incorporate a fuel tank underneath. We need to make sure there's clearance for the shocks. We're going to add a Panhard bar to keep our rear end from wagging back and forth, or at least make it controlled wagging back and forth. So that's going to go somewhere parallel to the axle about right here. So we've got to build some tabs. There's a lot going on. I want to keep all this space freed up too, so keep the fuel tank underneath so we can mount something back here if we so desire. So I think it's time to get fish mouthing this so we can weld it on here, also add some supports here, and we can start to build our mounts for our Panhard bar. And this rear section is going to be a lot closer to being finished. So I'm finding center here. I'm going to use our precision chassis building tool because we can't find center on this bent part here. Then we're going to measure off that, and that's going to be where Charles is going to build some fish mouths so we can mount it a little bit safer to our uprights on our seat bolster there. Cool. You know what? Good old healthy eyeball wouldn't hurt either as a backup precaution. All this measuring's making me nervous, man.
Alright. Make lemonade.
We're making lemonade, baby.
For some reason, that smells just like bologna. It did drop down a little bit.
It did drop down?
Yeah, that's okay.
Oops.
There's quite a bit of weight on just those little tacks. I mean, because it was like that.
Yeah.
So, what I'm going to try and do...
This is where the cars and cameras part comes in.
Bubble.
You're working with a bubble here, but we're going to have to line up the frame with the rack. We can't go floor to the rack because the floor is not even close to being level.
Dude, when somebody sees me working with this, someone's gonna start a GoFundMe and get me a level.
Get you real low.
With a
You're literally
with a magnet.
only working with a bubble.
Yeah, with a magnet. But I might glue a magnet on this thing.
Oh, there you go.
Alright, so the frame is just a little bit inside, or the bubble is a little bit inside that line. It's quite the opposite here.
It's starting to look kind of cool, man. So we got our rear section kind of figured out.
I can't move.
The tail fins are killer, and also
They don't know about the tail fins yet.
no, man. And it's also time for a name reveal on this thing.
Yeah.
The yard dart.
Yeah, because it's gonna dart past the yard cart that we're building it to outperform.
Exactly.
Yeah, I over-explained it, but yeah.
The yard dart, baby. So that's going to get welded about there. We have another piece. It's very difficult to try to attach it to the axle hanger. I have no idea if that's even going to try to hold up, so we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on it. We're going to gusset it some.
And see, the only thing that we could do is the gusset go down and get bolted in down there.
Yeah.
So it's still removable or something. I'm not sure. Maybe slip on this other side of this bolt, but we'll trying to make this work and still have access to service the axle.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
look at us trying to be able to maintenance things.
I'm going to be out of the shop tomorrow, so I'm going to let Charles loose with the time lapse and see if he can get the tail section here tacked in, get our floor pans tacked in, and set up our drive line. Charles made some decent progress the other day on his lone day in the shop, but Ike is going to be showing up from his Caribbean scuba diving trip in like an hour and a half, and we're just going to knock out as much more as we can before he arrives.
He was down in Barbados getting, what is it, hula shirts or hula necklaces and what is it, flower shirts.
So we're basically getting everything that was kind of tacked in, welded in a little bit better before Ike gets here.
Got it. All right. That ought to do it. We need to make like a go-kart lift. What do you think?
That'd be sweet.
Robert.
The world traveler arrived. I'm gonna go show him the new T4 go-kart and distract him for a couple minutes. And you,
He's like a little kid. This is his Christmas present.
yeah, this is Christmas present. Santa's not done yet.
No.
Hello, sir. How's it going?
Always going.
The beard's coming back already, huh?
Well, it is No Shave November.
Look at that, folks.
Yeah.
Nice.
So 8 days,
Okay.
no shaving.
Nice. Did you
Yeah.
see my pliers grew? You ready to see our handiwork, buddy?
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, you brought your mini bike in here. What are you doing? What are you doing to it? Man, that thing's got cool.
It got big. It got big and it got heavy like usual.
Well, yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, definitely interesting.
Interesting shifter. Is it in a okay spot?
Yeah, I think
so.
it works. Yeah, you can test it out.
Whose idea was it to put tail fins on it?
Charles.
Someone's gonna.
But it looks cool.
There's a reason they stopped putting tail fins on cars. Because they're
They're just tacked, dude. They're
That's why
just
there's
tacked.
no hood ornaments either.
They can get taken off.
Ooh. Ooh.
It's okay, right?
It's better than I thought.
You can't ask for more than that. What do you think of that brake lever, dude? That's so dumb.
Can we please fix that?
Yeah, we can. I can print off. I can basically cut one of these out as long as these points are the same.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Why is the brake on the left side?
versus the other side.
The brake's supposed to be in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no.
Oh, hold on. Did we mess this up really bad?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, we flip-flopped it because yard
Yeah.
carts.
Because clutch brake. You can't clutch brake.
You can't clutch and brake at the same time.
If you're braking,
You can't
you
come
can't
to a
push in the
stop.
clutch.
You can't stop, basically, if you're in gear.
yeah.
Nailed it.
This is good, guys.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
Did you see what we named it?
Yard dart.
Yeah, it's called
Have you ever played with yard darts?
Yeah, we
that's
talked about
that's the
that.
joke.
were
It's
very
yard
They
dart.
were very dangerous.
Exactly.
Like when you were coming along, they were a little bit safer. But whenever I was coming
Oh,
along,
boy.
it was actually real.
Like a needle on the end.
Yeah.
I've seen
Sharp.
pictures.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, we are not going to be riding our 190 cross kart around for the first time because we have a lot to do. But leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed today's episode and subscribe to Cars and Cameras to catch this thing in action for the first time, hopefully very, very soon. Yeah, support the channel, pick up some merchandise at cars-cameras.com, and we will catch you next time.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Me and my family can't thank y'all enough for all the bikes you guys have ordered. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to cap it at 100 because what I have coming up, I'm going to be really busy, and I don't want to be completely tied, all my free time completely tied up making those. But we're going to have to cap it at 100, so get them while you can.
Yep, and about 75 have sold, so if you want one of Charles's custom-made mini bike ornaments, you probably have a couple hours to do so. And if you still want to help support Charles and his fiance and his new baby, you can find a link to their registry in the description. Of course, anything is appreciated.
Absolutely.
And you can do a great job, dude.
Thank you.
Can't wait.
And thank y'all. Man, I turned around for 5 minutes and that list went from 2 things to 17.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It sure did, man.
Yeah.
I'll hide the marker next time. You're not allowed to have the expo.